Oh, I
artistic.
also linked
It was too
all
artistic.
the games shown, so if you guys click that, it's there.
It was though. I had
bet-
somebody say
yeah.
they're like, I didn't understand what it, I was like. Oh, okay.
Really? Oh, yeah.
I liked it.
All right,
It's good.
sure. All right.
All right. What's up, everybody? I think we're live. We're going live. Okay. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mega Ultimate Crossover. We're going to run that opening. Let's go. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to a very special mega epic crossover edition of the PlayStation Drive episode 103. My name is Matt, and on behalf of the PlayStation Drive, I will be your host. But this week, I'm also joined by the incredible cast of the console creatures themselves. I'm going to toss this over to Steve. Whoop.
Hey everyone, my name is Steve Vikvari, and I am one of the hosts of the Creature Cast, the official podcast for console creatures. And if you guys don't know, each week I get together with my fellow co-hosts Dave and Bobby. We talk about video games just like the fine folks here at the PlayStation Drive. I'm going to use this word early. It's symbiotic.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Which is why I thought, with me hosting on behalf of PlayStation Drive, with you hosting on behalf of the Creature Cast, we both needed to be in the Spider-Man shirts. I had to have the red, you have the black. It's just perfectly, as you said, symbiotic.
You are the Peter Parker to my Miles Morales.
I'm in. Let's go. I'm all over that. We are joined, of course, by the Supreme Court of Canada, Mr. Court Lalonde himself. What's up, Court?
Hey, buddy. I feel like I just saw you like a couple hours ago.
I feel like you just did too. And now I'm going to toss it over to Steve to intro somebody from the Creature Cast, because this is how we're going to be doing stuff today. It's all hectic.
Okay, yeah.
It's very.
Yeah, I'll toss it up to someone. I don't know what the layout is, so I'm just kind of gesturing wildly.
Yeah.
Bobby is here. He's the editor of Console Creatures. How you doing, Bobby?
I am feeling revved up, but it's not because of the PlayStation Showcase. It's because there are some really, really good takes about to happen, and some I don't want to say discourse with Court. We're gonna go into a little bit later.
Wow,
Discord?
dude, seriously.
Discord.
I'm here for the bad
Court
takes.
started the
I'm
show and
here
he's
for
already
the bad
crying. Like,
takes. I'm
honestly,
here
he
for all
just
the bad
cries a lot. Just whiner.
Listen,
Cry me
someone's
a
gotta do it.
river.
it's
I've already
so
been
you're
threatened.
taking
I've already
That
been
was
threatened
beautiful.
and booted once, guys. So just so you guys know, I was already threatened once by Court. So that's
Yeah,
strike one.
100%. I want to let everybody know on the Discord. He came in throwing daggers for no reason, so I reminded him that I could just boot him, and I just had to, put him back in his place. That's all.
it's okay.
Not very nice.
Wait for all this to swing around. And of course, we're joined
Swing.
by the weatherman on the moose himself, Mr. Ryan Turford. What's up, Ryan?
Oh, well, it's a nice 15 degrees outside in Toronto today, partially cloudy, not too cold, not too warm. I mean, there's a bit of a theme today because even though all y'all are in the Spider-Man stuff, I got a Metal Gear glass. I made up a copy of Metal Gear on my desk. I'm wearing a Metal Gear hat. I mean, we might be talking about Metal Gear today, but anyways, weather's nice. Weather's nice. Thanks for asking about the weather, Matt. I really appreciate you doing that.
Welcome back, my friend. It's nice to have you back. And for our final intro to Steve. What?
Last but certainly not least, usually the official host of the Creature Cast, but it's Dave, my good friend, one of the biggest N64 fans I know. I think reps it real
he's
hard.
probably one of the few.
One of the few still remaining. Yeah. I would say that I am interested in the console, and I have a podcast that runs separate with it called Remember 64. But as far as like being a huge fan, there's a lot of really interesting games that are very mid-level, I would say. But most recently, and very excitedly, which is something we are definitely not going to be talking about in the next little bit, but I just played Majora's Mask for the first time to completion, and that was a hell of an experience, I gotta tell you. So yeah, it's definitely a console to dig back into, I would say.
Happy for you, dude. I've never played Majora's, but maybe I might have to just because I believe you. On this week's show, we have an epic mega crossover, of course, with the folks over at Creature Cast to talk all things PlayStation Showcase, because that went down today. We have thoughts, feelings, and opinions. So, folks, we're going to leave the questions to next week. We're going to leave a bunch of the normal preamble to next week because this is just too much fun. We got 6 of us here together, the past and present of the PlayStation Drive, the wonderful crew at Creature Cast. We're going to be breaking all the things down and so much more. But very quickly before we do, I have to clean this dusty old garage of us. There's too many of us in here. Dust kicking up everywhere. These spider webs grow so very quickly week to week. If you're watching us live on youtube.com/carpoolgaming right now, make sure you like, subscribe, and share. Folks, please leave those comments. It helps us grow and reach more people. If you're listening to us on your podcast service of choice, make sure you leave us with a review and leave us with 5 stars. And I'm going to toss this over to Court because he has some pretty cool news and a giveaway to talk about.
Oh yeah, Final Fantasy. I was like, yeah, I didn't know where you were going with this. You were like going on a thing, and like you were like you just
all over the place.
A game I'm actually wanting to play this year. It was also shown in the showcase. We are going to give away a copy to Final Fantasy 16. All you have to do is hop into our Twitter, hop into our Discord, and literally just show us that you're subscribed to the channel, and boom, automatically entered. And we're going to give it away closer towards launch. And it's going to be on PS5. It's a North American copy. And yeah, I hope whoever wins it, enjoys the game. I'm actually looking forward to it. So, we'll all play it together and you tell us how you like it.
And something else cool happened, Court, which might be related or not, but tell me a little bit what happened on Spotify this past week.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Bro.
Yeah. Oh,
spoon feeding here.
Honestly, dude, you're spoon feeding, but I didn't know where you were going. It's been a day.
It's like it's the first time Court's done the show before.
Almost.
Honestly, I feel like it, but I'm also not much of a bragger, but awesome news. We're number 1 on Spotify, and we don't understand. I feel humble. I don't.
When you search PlayStation, let's be clear.
Yeah, when you search PlayStation on Spotify, we show up
In Canada.
I still don't.
We show up.
I show up as number 1. Like I thought
motto.
it was wrong. Like I'm not gonna lie to you. I sent it to Sean, and Sean replied back and was like, "No, man, that's not happening." And then Matt did it, and then Ryan did it, and then I did it for like 3 days in a row, and we were still number 1. So we wouldn't be there without everybody that is either watching or listening or talks to us on a daily basis on Discord. Literally from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. We truly appreciate it. This past year, just over a year, doing this with Matt has been absolutely amazing. I'm having so much fun, and I'm just so humbled that this has happened. Like we're shooting, we're going for the moon. We're going for all of it. We want to be number 1 on Apple. We want to be number 1 everywhere. We want every Carpool podcast to be number 1.
That's right.
In Canada.
In Canada. And we'll get there. I'm sure we will. And of course, on patreon.com/carpoolgaming is another way for you to contribute, tip your drivers and all that. But now I'm going to pass it over to Steve. Tell us about Console Creatures, the Creature Cast, and where we can find all of you wonderful folks.
Yeah, absolutely. Before that, congratulations. That's awesome. You guys have invited me onto the show a couple of times, so I'm a proud little guy.
Yeah,
I'm a proud little guy to have been a very small part of this venture that I see you guys go on. But for the Creature Cast, you can find us across all the podcast services out there. Much like Matt, you were saying, yeah, if you guys feel free to reach out and drop a 5-star review anywhere, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those. It really does go a long way. Not that we're inching towards number 1 in Canada in any respect, but it does go a long way for us to maybe hit number 3. That'd be cool. I think Dave, Bobby, I think we could reach for 3 is our goal.
Yeah,
I'd like to chime in and say we're all 5-star guys, so we need 5-star reviews. So yeah, just do your jobs, guys. Listen, like us. 5 stars. I'll just give 5 stars. 5-star guys.
I love that.
I'll just take, honestly, we'll take anything. Just say hello. Like you could just go into a review and say hello. Or put in our hashtag.
You can even comment first, and I'll take it.
Yeah.
But I will also probably shade you for that. But mostly, I'll say thanks.
Well, especially because they won't be the first one, so you can't say first if you're not first. That's not how that works.
You can.
That's fine.
Throw logic to the way.
It's fine. Just do the thing.
First in our hearts.
There you go. Yeah, Steve, you mentioned top 3. I mean, honestly, if it's any kind of race in any way whatsoever, I know it's not really a competition, but if it is, I just want to finish, I just want to finish the race.
It's not.
So
I just happened to look. I don't even have Spotify. See, I didn't even want to talk about it. Matt brought it up. I hate talking about stuff like this.
Listen, everybody just wants to finish. Okay, I feel like that's just a great lay of the land here. Thank you.
Wow.
All right, folks.
End goal.
Out of this tailspin.
Without further ado, folks, we have the PlayStation Showcase today. And before we get into the nitty-gritty, before we get into the details of it all, I want to go with everybody's gut reactions. How did we feel about the PlayStation Showcase? Court, I'm going to start with you.
Okay. I felt okay about it. Like, if it wasn't for the extended trailer of Spider-Man 2 and all the gameplay showing the combat systems, the symbiote suit, the already showing us the mechanics like the flying suit from Miles, and you could already tell that was a that's an upgrade that you get because there was a little symbol that showed up in the corner. So you're obviously not going to start with everything that we saw. So I'm guessing that's probably, this is just me going out there, 6-7 hours into the game. Because obviously we've already seen things where Peter is not wearing the symbiote suit. We've seen Venom. There's obviously going to be something going on. Like, stuff's going to happen. Kraven. We also got to see Kraven look at the map, and we got a lot of information. I'm excited tomorrow because I know what's going to happen. Places like New Rockstar and stuff are going to go deep dive just into the trailer and show me everything that I've missed. But if it wasn't for that trailer, I would have definitely walked away disappointed. Okay. And that's the way I have to look at it. And there's a lot of things that I saw in there that I liked. Assassin's Creed Mirage is amazing, but that's not a Sony first party. When I thought, maybe it's my fault that I overhyped it in my mind, but when it didn't say state of play, I'm like, oh my God, we're going to get a lot. And when Sony said we're going to get this and get that, and they were like, yeah, and some from our third parties, there was a lot of third party in this. And there was a lot of first party we didn't see. And I get it. You know, the pandemic is what it is, and it's caused a lot of delay and everything. But it seems there's a lot of stuff they probably could have shown us. We know Ghost of Tsushima 2 is real. It's on LinkedIn. You can go look it up. We didn't get a trailer. That's fine. We know trailers can delay things, and honestly, just go make the game. We know it's real. But just I don't know. I just felt like Sony even themselves usually tempers expectations, and they didn't on this. And then they gave us the showcase. Okay. It was good though. Like, there was a lot of Final Fantasy 16 looks great. I still want to play that game. And I never would have said that about a Final Fantasy game. There was the other game with the samurai stuff. I still can't remember the name.
Phantom Blade Zero.
It looked amazing. I originally was like, that is definitely not a me game. And then I saw the hack and slash. I was like, oh, I'm in. It looks amazing. As long as there's an easy mode, I'm really in. But there was and then the cat game. It looked cute. It's Cat Quest 3. That looked cute. Perfect kitty cat, the Carpool or whatever it is. I don't know, man.
Yo, someone call 911. This guy just had a stroke.
He just murdered that.
Like, he's done. Cat Quest.
I need someone to clip that out right away. DM me, because that's never going away.
I mean,
that was the word.
Incredible.
Pirates of the Caribbean.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah, Jesus
Kitty
Christ.
cat of the Caribbean, whatever.
Yeah, kitty cat, best cat. Pirates.
I don't know, man. I think there's like 5 or 6 games that I cared about, and it was an hour. It was just over an hour.
Okay, Steve, thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with Court, only because it's the expectation. I think everyone has been waiting for this big PlayStation blowout. Last showcase, like the quote unquote showcase, was 2021. They pulled out, all the stops on that one. We got so many great reveals, great surprises in that one. And then they went quiet, understandably so. It was COVID-19. A lot of developers are, in the midst of getting over those hurdles. And then they come out with this, and it almost felt like a state of play extended. Like, it's the verbiage, it's the naming conventions of all these acts at those expectations for whatever these virtual presentations are going to be. So I think PlayStation's biggest miss is naming it a showcase, because we were expecting, where's Ghost of Tsushima, where's Factions, where's any
Uncharted that you showed in a commercial.
Uncharted, where are all the marquee first party titles that people like insiders have said are going to give us the roadmap for what the next 3-4 years of PlayStation 5 is going to be? I didn't really get that. I got a sizable state of play where I wasn't disappointed. I was just kind of let down that the expectations weren't according. I mean, like Court, I think that there were probably 6 to 7 games that I was really digging. Spider-Man obviously looked great. Insomniac, at this point is just carrying the PlayStation 5 as far as I'm concerned. They are just doing everything right. I think every time I see them, they're just continually raising the bar, making, I'm sorry, but a lot of other developers look really bad. But outside of that, you have like the usual suspects that show up to a PlayStation outing, and I'm like, okay, I expected to see Square Enix show up, Capcom, everyone, like all the third-party partners, and then you got a couple huge pops. I think having Haven there, that was cool, but their game is very early in development. Same with Marathon, that was neat to see, but that stuff down the road. I wanted to see like the big reveals, which sadly didn't come. So I'm not angry about it. I still enjoyed the 1 hour and some change, but it wasn't what I wanted.
Okay. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, similarly along those same lines as both Court and Steve mentioned, I thought it was fine and fun is how I will classify the showcase. I thought, there was some good stuff. So there were some good games there. And, it's one of those things where when you have an hour-long showcase and you show over 30 games, not everything's going to be for you. And that, that's totally okay. I'm totally okay with that kind of thing. But you're right. Like, I definitely feel like there was a different set of expectations set by this being a PlayStation showcase or over a State of Play that I just didn't personally feel like it met, but I still thought a lot of the games looked interesting and fun, and I'm excited to play some of the stuff here. So I'm sure we'll get into it more, but I thought it was fine and fun. I thought it was a good, if not great, presentation.
Bobby, my dude, the carrier of the takes.
It was a showcase. It's the only way I can put it. I mean, for myself, there are some very, very high highs and there were some really low lows for me. So, like, obviously, I thought Metal Gear Solid Delta, or whatever they're calling it now, was incredible. I like the fact that we're getting a Grand Blue Fantasy relink release date, which is within the winter. I'm just going through it. Assassin's Creed Mirage was in the middle. Alan Wake 2 looks phenomenal. Like, I'm looking forward to that, but like everyone's been saying, this is a third-party showcase, basically, and like, where's Sony's pedigree? Like, everyone here showed up for the next 2 years of Sony first-party games, and we got a couple of middling, I guess, live service games, and I don't really care for those. So, for me, it was pretty mediocre.
Okay.
But, I'm not going to just say it's just mediocre. There's still a lot to look forward to. It's just, given the pedigree of Sony and what we know of them and how they've always, done their showcases, like, I expected something like a blowout from them, because it's 3 weeks from where E3 should have been. But I'm expecting something closer to Jeff Keighley's Summer Games Fest. So that's probably where we're going to see more things where Sony's going to be involved, I think. But yeah, that's just my take. It was a C for me. I'd give it, if I had to grade it, it'd be a C. It was okay. Okay.
Dave, my dude, I know you were coming in hot from work and stuff. Did you have a chance to watch it? Did you have a chance to catch up with what was going on? Tell me what you're thinking.
Yeah, I ended up watching most of it. I think I skipped over a couple of the trailers, but I have the list of everything in front of me that we have on the site and everything. And from what I watched, which was, again, not every single trailer, it's just not, most of these games are not for me, and I can just tell by what was listed, and that's unfortunate because I want to play my PlayStation 5 that I purchased in the fall so I could play God of War, and I was super excited. It's totally worth it because I love that game. It's amazing. But I like, a prime example of me wanting to get more use out of my PS5 was the fact that I purchased Jedi Survivor on that console over PC or Xbox or whatever. One, because I heard the PC version was not so great, but also I wanted to sit and use my PS5. Like, I hadn't really touched it in a meaningful way, especially for a PlayStation exclusive, in a couple months. And I was like, well, it's fine. I like the controller. I like sitting on my couch instead of in front of my computer. It's all good. That's why I got it for that. And I don't regret it because it ran beautifully on it and it's a fantastic game. But I was looking for something like that in this, and I didn't get that. So that's a little unfortunate. I think you guys all said it. It's not a failure. It's not terrible, but it's not the big games that I was the most excited to see in this. It was two small games, maybe three in particular, that we'll get into as we get into it in detail, that I'm most excited for. And I think only one of them will be an exclusive, or at least a timed exclusive. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that. And but it's always cool to see Spider-Man, so I'm all for that. So yeah.
Yeah. I think I think the panel's kind of hit it right on the head here. I think it's just a matter of expectations. I think this would have been an A state of play. If this was a state of play, if this was not around the time that it's in right now, I think this would have been, it would have had a much better reception to it. I think part of the timing coming out of this, obviously it's around what E3 was, what Summer Game Fest now is. There's higher expectations there. They hit it as a showcase. When you're showing up for a state of play, you're expecting third party. When you're showing up for a showcase, you're expecting PlayStation. And we just didn't get that today. Again, there was a lot here that I really liked. There's a lot here that I'm curious about. But all of the PlayStation Studio stuff, Spider-Man aside, was CGI trailers, was what looks like live service, what looks like proof of concept. And even then, we didn't really know or understand what a lot of these games actually are until you go onto the PlayStation blog after, if you care enough to go and read kind of what they have over there, because that really does build things out a lot. I am glad with the PSVR 2 showing that we had in there. Again, wish it was more, wish there was something PlayStation first party, but at least we have a couple things to look forward to over the next few months. I just think that this, given everything that was coming up to this point with PlayStation and the greater ecosystem at large, everybody was looking for a PlayStation slam dunk, and I think everybody was expecting it. And when we didn't get exactly that, regardless of how good everything else was around the showcase, I just don't know if it stuck the landing the way that it should have. And I don't know. Let me ask you guys this then. Do you think this would have carried different expectations if it was branded as a state of play? Do you think that if we got a state of play instead of a showcase at this point in time, do you think it would have made a difference? Dave, what do you think?
I put my hand up
I like that.
like a good little boy in class. The reason why I want to go first is because I don't have a ton to say about that in particular, which I know sounds a little bit of an oxymoron, but it doesn't matter what things are called to me. Like I don't care. I don't care if it's a showcase or state of play. I actually forgot what the difference was up until a couple days ago when we were looking more into doing this. So I was like, oh, that's the difference, right?
Right.
I just want to see what I can play on my console. Like, I don't care if it is the PlayStation State of Showcase. It doesn't really matter what it's called. Just give me what I can play and give me a reason to have just spent more than $700 on this thing. And have me excited about having this console. Like, I have every console available to me now, and it feels like up until it was a couple of titles that were on here, and maybe ones like Bobby mentioned that we'll see over the next few months, in the summer and stuff like that, I can just turn on my PC and play these, aside from a couple. So that's why, to me, I don't care what you call it, just give me what I can use on your hardware. Or your services, that's what matters to me. That's all. So,
okay.
I almost would have been happy if they didn't even do the Final Fantasy 16 state of play, and had less of even like the cat game, and had more of Final Fantasy, and acted like that was like hit Final Fantasy and then Spider-Man 2, and that's how you're ending it, would almost be a lot better, especially when they put in that Gran Turismo trailer. It was like, did they just throw this in here because they something else was supposed to be there? Because you should never, regardless whether it was about a video game, like that should have been at the Game Awards or so, like not there. And then Project Q and even the earbuds, I was like, are you only putting these out here because Tom Henderson pretty much leaked this whole thing plus images, and that's why we're seeing it? Because that felt forced too. Because when they're calling it Project Q, it just felt out of place, because Sony announced a lot of things via blog, and how Project Q and the earbuds got into a showcase is beyond me. That felt like, for the first time ever in my life, that felt like a blog. Like, that's a blog post. I did not need to see that in the showcase. I did not need to see the Gran Turismo trailer in the showcase. I felt, for the first time in a really long time, Sony lost touch of what they used to do so well. And maybe it's because last year's showcase for Xbox was really good. Like, the fact that Xbox was able to put out that tweet after this showcase, like, as a place to, like, come on, man. Like, Xbox probably, while putting it out, had the biggest smile on their face, just ready to send it, know what they're doing. They're like, yeah, so you saw how many games? Well, here's 12 of them that are going to be on our console that were just shown. Thank you for the showcase.
Yeah,
like,
on the flip side, like they have their own problems to worry about. So,
Oh
like,
no, and
there's-
Xbox
there's-
has got they're literally
They're just, I don't know. For me, like that's just like hey, what about you forgot? Don't forget about us, even though we got nothing going on right now.
well, they for me, even if like a lot of people were like, oh, Xbox can go out and have the best showcase ever. I was like, they can have the best showcase, but at least Sony, when they show me a game right now and it's a first party and or at their, I'm like, okay, the game's probably going to be good. That like I believe what I'm seeing. When Xbox shows me right now after the last showcase, I'm like, until I play it, I ain't nope. Till I play it, it's a nope. I can't trust it. Like Halo Infinite did not hit for me. Redfall definitely didn't hit for me. It's just like they keep striking out a lot. So I need something more. But even on Sony's side, I feel like this was missed opportunity.
Okay. Any other thoughts and feelings before we move on? Open it up back up.
I don't think
No,
it was a
I'm-
missed opportunity. No, I don't think it definitely. There's enough there for everybody, but you're talking about first party, so I mean, yeah, that's different. But I wouldn't say there's a missed opportunity. There's enough here to cover Sony for the next year and a half. Like they will sell better on the console. All these games that they've listed, we're gonna see them, do gangbusters on the console. So like I'm looking forward to that. I know that I don't want to be a obviously like a console war, but the fact of the matter is these games are more popular on PlayStation. That's why you saw Metal Gear announced on PlayStation, because that's where it's always been popular.
We got the numbers right before the showcase. It's not even a conversation anymore.
Yeah,
Sony
it's
is
just I
killing
don't
it.
know. It's just that
Maybe I'm just disappointed this console generation. Period. I was
which is
expecting
fair.
more.
I mean, it's been a weird generation, so I mean that's nothing to like, disagree
Well,
with. I mean,
didn't they say in the showcases we're now in year 3? I'm just like, what have we gotten that is so, quote unquote exclusive or current gen or whatever? Sure, Spider-Man's going to be that. It definitely seems like that, and there have been recent titles, but up until the last few months, are we 3 years in or are we 6 months in?
I mean, we
that's
got
what it feels like.
PlayStation 4 games announced during the showcase today.
Yeah,
Exactly,
good point.
right?
For 2024, not even
Yeah,
just this year, for next year. So,
It's a whole broader
Mirage.
thing of like, can everyone even afford the console and availability? So I get that, but also like,
but that's a tired argument. We're in 2023. It's just enough's enough. I mean, they need to move on.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry if you own a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One. The time has come. They're now a decade old. Retire them. You don't run a computer for 10 years without upgrading. It's gonna die. It will die.
you got to catch up and at some point. Yeah.
I understand. Like people can't afford. Like it's obviously gaming is a very, 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 very expensive hobby. So like, yeah, I understand. Like that's why Game Pass exists. But there are other ways to play games.
Yeah.
All you need is a browser these days to really enjoy games. So like,
Really.
it's a heartful truth. But the truth of the matter is like Xbox One and PlayStation 4 are holding this generation back, and like it's like a hostage of them because like
Look
the
at
pandemic
Horizon. Look how
disaster.
good the DLC was compared
I'm
to the
playing
release.
it again right now. It blows my mind how beautiful the game is. Like there's nothing I've seen like it on any console, on any computer. Given I haven't obviously played Cyberpunk on the best computer, but like that's the only comparison I can pull out. But for console, it's the best looking game I've ever seen, like hands down.
I would still argue that Demon Souls is the best looking PlayStation 5 exclusive, and that was a launch title.
Yeah, fair, and that looks fantastic.
Ratchet and Clank look good too.
Yeah, there's plenty that looks good, but I think there is a point. Like, I mean, somebody shouted out in the chat when we were watching today that like Spider-Man 2 is like what next gen should look like, and it looks.
Sean actually said.
Yeah, it looks incredible. All right, folks. Let's take a quick rip through the announcements. I'm pulling from Console Creatures themselves from their website. They have a great article up for everything shown at the PlayStation Showcase. Let's do a quick tear through here. There's a lot of us, so if you have thoughts and feelings about the game, again, we'll do it. Shout out your favorite pie. Let's bring that joke back. Shout out your favorite pie, and then we'll make some space for you. But we started off with the announcement of Haven's game, which is called Fair Game $, Fair Games.
Fair game dollar.
Fair game dollar. Of course, Haven's first game. We didn't get too much about it. We got a CGI trailer that showed some interesting looking punky stuff. But does anybody have anything to say about Fair Game dollars?
Any of these live servers, just I'll play it and see if I like it. If not, I'm out.
That's
Interesting
exactly it.
choice. Yeah, interesting choice to start with this. I don't know if I'm missing something here, but interesting
you're
choice
not.
to start with this. I don't know.
I'm kind of over these live service games, but I mean, I trust the developers. I mean, Haven Studios stacked with some really iconic developers, so like
Mhm.
I obviously will play it.
Is Haven Jade Raymond's team?
That's
Yep,
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Canadian too. So
Yes.
I think just for those two sakes alone, like I popped off when I saw that start
Yeah,
the show. I was like,
exactly.
oh, that is how Sony kind of refines and kind of lays out the foundation that yes, we are here for games as a service. That's something that, you know, they're going to start getting into more heavily and invest their time and get players integrated into those kinds of games. I think that's really important for them to do. So coming out of the gate and saying, okay, we're doing our PlayStation showcase and having Haven show off this games as a service title first and foremost, I think it was a really strong first showing for this showcase.
And not of that too, like if you think about it, because I was remembering back to when Haven was purchased, when we got the news that Haven was purchased by Sony, like whatever they saw that was very early in development, whether it was this or the other game that we know that they're working on, like they were like, okay, we need to move on them as quickly as possible and bring them into the fold so that no one else takes them. So
because
Very
it
good
went
point,
from
Ryan.
a second party funded game from PlayStation to them just acquiring the studio. So it had to have been something so tantalizing that they're like, oh shit, we need this under our umbrella stat.
Exactly. So there might be something about this game that even though we didn't see it in the CGI trailer because we didn't see gameplay, maybe there's something about the gameplay with this game that is really going to hook us, and maybe that's why they wanted to put it first and foremost in the presentation, because maybe they're seeing something with this particular game that maybe we haven't seen yet with the gameplay.
Yeah, we're gonna mention a bunch of live service games. My question to you guys is a panel, and I'll just ask this: do you think that these live service games are going to be PlayStation Plus, or are we going to be paying for them?
No, it'll be a PlayStation Plus.
They're gonna be free.
They will.
I think some of them will be free to play. And I'm sure you're gonna get like your special bonus drops or whatever for being subscribed to PlayStation
Like
Plus.
the Destiny formula?
Exactly. But I feel like these games, any of their live service ones that they're really pushing, I think they have to be free to play, which is why a lot of them we saw, including Fair Games, PS5 and PC. Which confirms that they are going to be launching these things day and date across both of the platforms, which they need the audience for. So to me, this screams free to play. I'd be really surprised if any of them are going to cost you any money to hop in and try it out.
Interesting. I'm kind of on the opposite side, where at least with Haven, with Fair Play, I do think that there's an argument there that they could come out and say this is a premium product. I don't know what that looks like. A game like, and we'll talk about it, Marathon, for instance, that to me, being a Bungie game, that to me seems like you come out free to play model, have it
And it's on
accessible,
everything. It's on
and it's
Xbox,
on
everything.
everything. That's your model. But for something that launches on PlayStation 5 and PC, Sony could still have a compelling argument to say you're paying us $80 and $90 here, and you're going to get a battle pass because the game is just that good and just that premium.
Well, especially if they're going to go that route, they could also go the Destiny route as far as the pricing and have it, maybe have a base version that's free, but then when expansions or other content comes out,
that's a
you
good
then
idea.
pay for that, and then you buy it as a bundle when you want to buy a bunch of, when there's enough content, to bundle up together, and then you get a battle pass and everything else. Like
I don't mind that route. It's almost like you're getting the game as like, okay, can it get your hooks in you? Like, I'm a big fan of the Division, and the Division 2, they're not making they're making Heartland. And they're going the route of Destiny with Heartland. They're going to let you have the game for free, and then there's going to be season passes that you can get after the fact. But it's almost like the days of back in the day when we used to get like PlayStation Magazine, we get demos. Like Spyro the Dragon was one of them. Like you get to try these games out. These free to plays are almost like demos, because if you can get hooked, you're going to get the battle pass as soon as it comes out. You're going to be like, yeah, I'm in. Like, I'm in. All my friends are playing it, because it scares me on a free to play if they try and charge for it, because we've seen it. They try and charge right out the gate, and you can't get the player base, and someone that is liking it going in and like, I got no one to play with.
There's a reason why Final Fantasy 14 gives you like the first 100 hours of that game basically for free as part of a free trial, because they know if you play it for that 100 hours, it'll have its hooks in you and you'll buy the rest of it, and you'll pay that monthly subscription.
And
the unfortunate truth, sorry, just wanted to throw this out. The unfortunate truth is we just don't know what PlayStation's plan is as it pursues games as a service, because it could go either way. We just don't really know, because I do think that there's a possibility that Sony comes out and they are ballsy and say, we're doing premium across the board. You're going to pay us because it's PlayStation. It has that branding and everyone buys into PlayStation anyways. Or they could go the smart way, which is free to play, and then just monetize the game through that. But,
or do it as it's free to play if you're subscribed to Extra. Like that's where I think
that's another thing. Yeah,
I think Sony's going to go that route. That it's yeah. You can have free to play all you want. We're going to have the base game, but if you're an Extra, you get it.
Yeah.
You get the game. You get everything. You get the first season of the Battle Pass. And they'll get you in that way, because the stats came out. 30% of all PS Plus subscribers have Extra or Premium. They didn't really get into they just said Extra or Premium, but that stat to me, that's a huge number of people that have Extra or Premium. So if you can get that number up just a little bit, if one of these live service games that they have, even if they start adding Bungie to it, adding any of those and be like, hey, if you pay for Premium, because that's what the one they want us to get, right? Because if you notice, they've been putting non-classic games in that premium now. All of a sudden, so PlayStation 4, not the normal games that they said were going to be in that service. They say, hey, Factions when it finally comes out and all that, that's in the premium. You got to have PlayStation Premium, and then you get everything.
I think it's a possibility, and I think what we're going to see from them too, especially with a lot of these live services, I don't think we're going to see a one shoe fits all. I think some of them might be free to play, some of them might be premium. I think they're going to try out to see how much can they get away with, and depending on how well that works or doesn't, we might see them start to pivot. But folks, let's roll on to the next game, which was we got Helldivers 2 coming in 2023, both to PS5 and PC. Helldivers, of course, hit back in 2015. Was a fantastic isometric, almost not a twin stick shooter, but top down, run around, shoot aliens. And now Helldivers 2 looks blown out in a huge way. Third person. It looks really, really cool. Graphics look beautiful. This is one of my highlights of the show. I love the original Helldivers, and I'm very, very, very excited to see how Helldivers 2 sticks the landing, because I think this could be really, really cool. Anybody else with some love for Helldivers 2 or not love?
It looks pretty. It looks cool. It looks pretty bombastic and fun. I guess it's a team-based, squad-based Starship Troopers clone in a way. That's kind of what it looks like to me. I don't know. I didn't play the original, although I've heard lots of really good things. And this clearly looks like a very different game. It had me interested. This was a cool trailer because it was a mix of. I like the humor around it too. I thought that they had a good approach with the way that they went into it, so I appreciate that. Hard to pull that off sometimes, and the gameplay, or at least semi gameplay that they had in there, is always nice to see and look pretty slick and fun. So I'm in on this. This looks like a good time.
Awesome, yeah. Looking forward to it. The next one we got was Immortals of Aveum, coming to PS5 on July 20th. We got a date for that one. This is it's an EA original. It's actually I think it's made from ex Call of Duty devs. It looks like a first person shooter, but you're using magic and stuff. It looks like kind of like a very much more actiony Ghostwire Tokyo mixed with Doom kind of ridiculousness. I think this game looks cool. Anybody have any thoughts or feelings for Immortals of Aveum?
The only thing I want to say is, regardless of what this game is or what the story is, I just know it's going to feel good with the dual sense. Yep. That's the only thing that was going through my mind, is I can almost feel the haptics and the adaptive triggers play. I was like, I'll give it a shot just for that.
Yeah. It just looked cool and fun, and I hope it's good, because I have to say it. I hope, EA has a habit sometimes of making these games that I'm like, wow, that looks really good. And then I play it, I'm like, ooh, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about EA.
But they have two of the highest rated games of the year with Dead Space and
I know,
Jedi
but
Survivor.
those are one's a Star Wars with a phenomenal story and had a lot of issues with it, but we all got over it because the story is that good as a Star Wars fan. Let's be honest about Jedi. And Dead Space is one of the best games of all time. So if you can't make a remake on that game good, then I don't know what to tell you. You should just shut the studios down. But it looks very cool. I think I need to see more. That's all. I just need to see more of that, and maybe even play the game. That's all.
Yeah, we have 6-minute demo on our site, so if you want to look at it, I mean, it's there.
That's a nice plug.
That's a plug, dude.
It's so. This
I was
is
trying to actually set him up because I know.
Ooh, look at that. and he spiked it. He spiked that one, Fokker. He spiked it. For me, this game looks cool. The visuals, the idea of it, all that, the setting, everything looks very interesting. And this is just my sort of gaming preference over the last couple of years. It's sort of evolved into this. I wish this was third person. I think I would. I don't really love the jumping around with all this crazy extra flashy stuff around like this in first person. It doesn't work for me in this way so much anymore. I don't know. Maybe this is my old age, quote unquote, speaking.
Dave, Forspoken. It's literally it reminds me of Forspoken.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a third person game that does exactly this. I mean,
Literally, it got brand new DLC today.
Does that EA game swear every 2 seconds while you're playing it too?
I hope so.
But I will. The one thing I want to say about Immortals is it looks exactly like the sequel to, or the modern day interpretation of Hexen or Heretic that we never got from id, that I wanted id to maybe go back to at some point, but they never did.
Hexen's
so we're
so
definitely
good.
getting that experience with Immortals. So I'm excited for this one. This trailer actually got me way more excited than I was previously, and I definitely got to go check out your guys' demo because I didn't get a chance to see that before.
And coming really, really soon, just a couple months out. Ghost Runners 2 is what we got next. The return of Jack. Tried to get into the first one. I think I played it too close to Neon White. I think I prefer the way that Neon White controlled, because the original Ghost Runner didn't really land well with me in terms of the way that the game felt. But it's one that I keep thinking about going back to, and the second one does look slick. Who's excited for Ghost Runner 2? Bobby?
Oh, I'm ready for it.
Yeah?
I mean, I love these kind of games like Neon White and Ghost Runner.
Ooh.
I mean, those are very, 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 very slick looking games. They play and handle like butter. I mean, if you really want something that'll challenge you, it's Neon White for sure. But yeah, Ghost Runner, I mean, that's an acquired taste, I think. I mean, you really have to be one of those people who like to challenge themselves and like repeatedly die and, you know, reinvest their time into perfecting a run.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it. I think it looks incredible. The second one, the first one obviously did really well. I mean, it sold over 1 million copies, I believe. So like, a sequel makes sense. But yeah, let's see what they do with it. I mean, I just hope it's not more of the same, right? So I mean, that's its biggest challenge right now. How are they going to make it look and feel better than the first Ghost Runner?
Mm-hmm. Well, we know that it's coming to PS5 sometime in 2023. The next game that we saw, very much a court game, Phantom Blade Zero, coming to PS5. No release date, no window, no nothing announced, but we got to see some cool like ninja samurai fighting a bunch of stuff. It looks really, really cool. I think the one thing that I thought was that the game looks a little too one color. It's very gray all the way through, so I kind of want to see if that's just an area that we start in or if that's going to change. But the game looks really, really cool. Some really awesome looking set pieces. Phantom Blade Zero, let's hear some thoughts and feelings.
I actually want to play it, and I originally didn't want
Court game.
That's when it first got it shown, it was very gray, and I'm like, all right, this is instantly. I'm sure we all thought of it. We're like, well, this is a Souls-like game. Like, it's just as soon as you see it, you're like, this is a Souls-like game. And then all of a sudden, I saw the combat, and Matt was like, I don't think it is. So I'm yeah. That's literally. I said it was like Ninja Gaiden versus like what was it? Shinobi from the NES. It was like it's got like that feel. I was like, it's got all these different things going on, and I'm like, all right. And I'm sure it has a phenomenal story. It looks like it's a hack and slash, so I think I'm in. I want to see more, but it looked good. But yes, it looked like PS3 era with the very dark and graininess of it.
What I'm gonna say is that this game, out of like this and one of other game that we'll talk about later, might be the most Ryan Turford video game I saw at this entire showcase. Like the type of game that's totally up my alley, because Ninja Gaiden Black is one of my favorite all-time games. I love that fast action style game, whether it's Ninja Gaiden, Devil May Cry, Bayonetta. Like that's definitely my jam, especially when it comes to third-person action games. So this is very much up my alley, and I'm going to be keeping my eye on this one very closely as we hear more about it.
I'm right there with you, Ryan. As soon as I saw this, and no, it was when the dialogue started kicking in, and you could tell that they have like this very somber game and its foundation, but then really eccentric characters. I was like, oh, this is way more interesting than I was giving it credit for at the beginning. And then you see the combat animations, and some of those are just so unreal and fluid that I was like, oh my god, this has to be like integrating cutscenes in certain parts, like when he hides behind the pillar and the guy's weapon comes out. It's like, oh my god, like they're doing everything right to make it feel cinematic but fluid. And there are some parts where he's riding on the cart with the horse and attacking enemies to his left or right. I was like, holy shit, this is on another level. And how have I never heard of this studio, heard of this game before? Honestly, I think out of every game here, with the exception of like stuff we already knew about, like this was the surprise of the showcase where I was like, okay, we're cooking with something now.
There's butter all over that baby. Bobby, go ahead.
I just think it looks perfect. I mean, it is just like the right mix of like camp and action, and I'm ready for it. Like it kind of looks like I said, Ninja Gaiden, Sekiro, and like Shinobi combined into one. And yeah, I mean, I just want it today. I wish there was some kind of demo we could play just to sample it, because I mean that's probably one of my standout reveals today. It was Phantom Blade Zero, I believe.
Yeah, and actually one of the most distressing things about it is that this was one of a few games that we saw today with no release window even at this point. So we have no idea when it's coming out. It's coming out at some point.
Which is fine. I'm fine with that. I mean, we have so much to play anyway. So like really,
I just want to know, man. I want to know.
I just want it. That's all.
I want to know how long I could be disappointed.
Yeah.
even if I know it's next year, I'd rather know.
I need to anticipate my disappointment.
No, this is the type of game though that I might clear my schedule for.
Fair enough.
It's coming out.
Yeah.
Glowing reviews from the panel. I think this is the one that we've been most positive on so far. This game looks awesome. The next one that we got was Sword of the Sea coming to PS5. It's also no release window here. Really funny, Bobby, that you described this as Journey meets Tony Hawk Pro Skater, because I said the exact same thing on the showcase when we were doing the watch along. But essentially, if you haven't checked out the trailer, go check it out. It looks gorgeous. The art style is beautiful. Seemingly from some of the devs that worked on Journey and on Abzu. The game looks really, really cool. This is one of my standouts. I just think it looks beautiful, and I just want to go surf around on the sand. Sword of the Sea, folks. What are we thinking?
This is one of the smaller ones that I'm very excited about. Obviously, because Journey is just like this monumental release. When I played that, I think I played it like a year after it came out. So all I did was hear great things about it. I just didn't have a PlayStation on me at the time. And then I just sat down and just played it for whatever it was, an hour and a half, 2 hours. And it was like, holy poop. Even though I only ran into one person while I played this, because it was a year old at that point, it was still just an experience. And that's what I really love about a lot of indie games, or at least smaller games. And the Pathless as well. There's like that game has a lot of similarities to what looks like they may be putting into this as well, where you can sort of glide and sort of there's fluid movement and stuff. And that game felt really great and looks amazing as well, and has great music. And it seems like they're right on the path to that with this title. So this is 100% all in one of those titles that is like a day one. I got to experience this. So yeah.
Can't wait. I'm really, really stoked on this. We got Talos Principle 2 coming sometime in 2023. First-person, story-driven puzzle experience. This is a big old pass for me. What do we think?
Oh, man, that's a shame. You should not pass, because the first one was incredible. Like, it really, really challenges you to, think outside the box and really question, like, how...
I don't want to, no.
I don't got time to think outside boxes, all right?
Bro, when me and puzzles come together, I feel like a genius playing Resident Evil 4 right now, okay? Well, that's the level of the puzzles that I can handle. I'm like, I found the thing that was directly around the corner and is obviously for this.
There's a puzzle game right now that I've been playing that I'm absolutely loving, and I didn't think it was for me, and that's Humanity. Like, I can't... Like, Humanity is amazing. That game is phenomenal. I played it in VR. I just definitely want to play it non-VR, though.
That one's a different kind of puzzle game. This one's more like you're in this room, you have to figure out how to get out of it. You have to
like a Myst type game.
I live here now.
It's closer to The Witness or something like that.
Yeah, I like The Witness. I reviewed the first Talos, and I had like the best time playing it. It was like really philosophical. You really need to start thinking and like apply just the basics of things we learned in school. Like had like 1 + 2. 1 + 1 is 2. So
numbers.
I don't know about
Window.
that, guys.
Sounds hard.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
If it's anything like The Witness, that game made me feel like an absolute moron.
Dude,
so I'm not
it's
playing
Playing
that.
that game, I feel like my brain is about as
Steve's
smooth
still
as a
crying
marble.
about it. He's like, I need tissues every time I play that game.
Steel ball up in this
triggering.
cranium.
It's also a really gorgeous game. So like honestly, just look at the reviews for the first one, and you'll see like it was one of the best games of 2014.
I remember it reviewing incredibly well. I just don't know if it's a
Yeah.
game for me, but maybe. Since Bobby is the keeper of the good takes, I will give it a go at some point just to see if my stupid
Like Crow Team, right?
if my
So
stupid
it's like
thimble brain will handle it. The next one that we got was Nova, coming to PS5 at some point in 2024, from the creator of Gree. This game, the trailer almost made me cry on stream. It looks beautiful. You play a character. There was a giant elk dog, and then there's a little one at the end. One of the most beautiful looking games of the showcase for me. I just want to know more. I want to see more, because I already know this thing is going to absolutely break my heart apart. Thoughts and feelings for Nova, folks?
Yeah, it looks incredible. We have also an in-depth article just explaining how the game was made. So we just published it. So yeah, look it up. It's called Neva. So I believe, yeah, it's basically whatever happened was, I can just
Get it right,
explain
Matt.
Oh, Neva, my bad.
Neva, yeah, sorry, there was an error there that I fixed that. But yeah, basically the way the game was birthed was because the team just published Gree, and they're like, what's our next game? So what ended up happening is half the team actually ended up having kids, and then the pandemic hit, and then basically the game was born because of all these events that happened. So it's a story about young children. It's about dealing with a pandemic and stuff like that. So like the world's dying, and it's just a reflection of the past like 4 years of what's happened in our world, spun in like a fantasy setting. And,
Yeah,
like, it looks incredible.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the look of it, the art style is amazing, and so was Gree. And if Gree's an example of how they're going to handle a difficult situation and difficult subject matter, then this game is another one that's at the top of my list, because that game was another one that I've said, like I mentioned earlier, like it's an experience. It's not necessarily something that you're going to rack your brain with. Yeah, there's very light puzzles and platforming, like very light, but it's not really about that. It's about experiencing what they want you to experience and process, I would say, through difficult subject matter in an amazing setting, and that's exactly what this looks like. And I'm in for some tears while I play a game. It happened previously. It's probably going to happen with this one. So,
Big facts. The next one is a game that Court was very much looking forward to and broke his brain earlier today and had us all very concerned for him. Cat Quest: Pirates of the Caribbean.
No, why don't you let him say it?
Yeah, I was about to
Dang
say.
it.
Let him
Hold
stroke
on,
out again.
Court loud
Caribbean?
noises. Court loud noises. Court loud noises. What's the name of the game, Court?
Cat Quest. I think it's Cat Quest 3 because there's a Cat Quest 1 and a Cat Quest 2.
You're wrong already. Wrong.
Just Cat Quest?
Yes,
Yeah.
Cat Quest.
It has a subtitle. It doesn't have a number at the end.
Oh, okay. All right.
What's the
whatever.
subtitle,
It's
Court?
the kitty.
What's the subtitle?
Pirates of the Caribbean.
He got it.
He got it
It
this time.
looks like a little. It looks like a cute kitty cat game. Like that's the way I look at it. I showed my daughter the trailer and she was like, "I want to play the game." I'm like, "Yep." That for me, a lot of the times, if my daughter's willing to play the game, I'm in. It makes me want to play games. It gets me playing more games. I have very limited time in my life to play video games, and if I can play them with my daughter, then it's a win all day long. Like I literally, like this year, I've finished My Little Pony. I just did a review. Like I play those games.
I'm sorry. It kind of sounds like you're just hiring your daughter to get you platinum trophies.
Hey,
Yeah,
hey.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm just saying.
Reach.
He's just playing the games he
I
truly
can
wants
get
to
beaver
play.
trophies on my own.
Yeah,
all right?
I think I'm with Bobby here. I think he's just using his daughter for an excuse to play the games he really
He's
wants to
probably
play.
playing Dead Space, and he's like, I can't watch this. This is too dark.
He's like, oh, Emma, my daughter needs to avert her eyes. I can't play this. This is
Dead Space
too much
is
for her.
amazing. But I kid you not, my before I was playing Beat Saber, which we'll get into, which is amazing, and I'm addicted to that game. My daughter, I showed her the Spider-Man trailer, and what did she want to do? She wanted to play Spider-Man. She sat here and played Spider-Man for 25 minutes. All she does is swing around Brooklyn and New York. She thinks it's the greatest thing ever. That's fine.
It
We
is
play
pretty
a lot
damn
of
great,
games together.
though.
But
It's
for
awesome.
me, yeah, my year of playing video games, if a game is accessible for her to play, I'm more inclined to play it.
Yeah, the game looked absolutely adorable. Coming in 2024 to PS4 and PS5.
I'm not saying that the gameplay are good on half of these because some of them are absolutely terrible.
They're
but-
so
cats
bad.
litter, as you would say.
I
like that.
That's a perfect the way to go on to our next game, which the internet and is definitely dubbing the Splatoon killer. We got Foam Stars coming to
Oh my
PS4 and
God.
PS5. No release date. If you didn't see this trailer, it's coming from Square Enix. This is Splatoon, but edgy and teenager and cool. And it will
Splatoon with
put
bubbles.
Splatoon in the grave. It's going to put Splatoon straight in the ground. Foam Stars forever.
You know what?
Can I
It does
just
have
like who
It has good music.
decided to allow that to be made? Like they were like
Square
sitting
Enix.
here in a room because they all have to agree on this, right? So someone pitched this, and someone in that room was like, "I've never heard of a game like this.
It's
This sounds
greatness,
amazing." Everybody else in the room, you know it. They're all looking at each other like, "It's Splatoon. Should we tell them? Should we tell them?" and then it's like the Seymour thing. It's just like, no, it's the kids that are not with it. All right, like whoever greenlit this game, you
No.
shouldn't have.
They knew what
Oh
they were
yeah,
doing.
you had to have.
This
It has
is
good music, guys. That's all I want. The music like Persona to me, so like
Yes,
that
dude.
already hooked me.
Yeah.
So like already it's a win in my book because
I mean,
the
it's already
music,
better than
so-
Splatoon at that point.
Exactly.
You've got Persona-like music and
Yeah, I
anime
mean, like,
looking
really.
characters. Like,
and
Matt,
really,
did they give
how bad
a
could it be?
did they give a release window for
Nope.
nope.
This
it's
game?
just it'll be out whenever.
Nope.
But
An active
the one
hotel
thing we
minute.
did find out though is it is PlayStation. It is one of the few exclusives we saw today. It is exclusive to PlayStation.
I was just gonna say
It's good
whenever they
get,
release
Sony.
that,
was a good get. Like whoever wrote
What?
that check, that was a good one.
whatever the
Enix doesn't
release
like-
date is, call me in a year and tell me that someone's still playing this game.
Bro,
Well,
I'm telling you
Because
right now,
obvious-
this game, Nintendo better be worried. They better be shaking in their boots, okay? Either cancel Splatoon 4, put it out before this, because once Foam Star hits, it's over for Splatoon.
well, I
Those
mean, they're
kids
gonna
are
keep the game
gonna get
alive.
got.
They're gonna keep it
I
alive with
wouldn't be
all
surprised.
kinds of foam fests. So like peanut
Yep.
butter versus jelly, or bubble bath versus soap.
Anyone
Like
who's hating
So
has
original.
never been to a foam party, so that's what I'm
See?
saying. And
Facts.
I've been to a foam party and they're phenomenal.
Court,
So,
you're
sorry,
you're
guys.
muted. Whatever you're trying to.
Come back.
Foam
I'm back,
party.
I'm back.
I said it all stream.
What-
Foam party. That's all that game is. With
Tyler,
everything.
on
all
the
it
showcase.
is,
Splatoon
I don't have to
Underground.
get wet. I just can enjoy the game.
Yeah, just get
So,
foamy.
I'm into it.
I mean, do you? The next one that we got is one that I'm very excited about coming in 2023. The Plucky Squire. This game looks
Yes.
adorable from like the 2D adventure to
Some
the
would
3D
say
pop
adorbs.
out. It looks adorbs as hell, dude. I can't wait for this one. Plucky Squire,
It's
folks.
made by I think can't forget his name. So like the guy that created this game, he worked on Pokemon. He made some of the best designs from like the previous generations.
All
I
right.
can't remember his name. Let me pull it up while you guys talk it up. I'm actually curious because like the guy who made it is really, really talented.
Okay,
I'll just jump in and say, since the first time I saw this last year, I was like, oh, I need to play this game. This
In.
game looks just the design aesthetic, the visual art style is incredible. I
Splatoon
want to
Killer
play
number
this game.
2.
That's it.
I'm actually shocked that I just went in the store just to see that Sony didn't do like showcase games, like put them all there so you can pre-order them or do whatever you want. Like,
They'll update on Tuesday, dude.
yeah,
Well, a lot of
they
these
put
games
all the
aren't even
games in?
available for
Mind you,
pre-order at
Beat
all.
Saber was like difficult. You had to go, it said add to wish list. You had to go over the thing, hit the 3 dots, and then say you wanted it on PS5. It didn't just let you find it right away. It was really weird.
So
Mm.
James Turner is the first British graphic designer to work at Game Freak, and he is the first
Oh, it's
Westerner
him.
to design Pokemon. So he's designed. He's done lots of them. Shadowlugia, Vanillite, Vanillish, Golett. He's done a lot of them. He's done like at least a dozen. He
Let's go.
All your favorites.
Nice.
Gigantamax Pikachu, Gigantamax Gengar.
Best of the best, dude.
Yeah, he's done some pretty like his designs are good. So like I once I heard he was on this, I'm like, well, I liked his designs. Like he obviously could hone the original 151. So like let's see what he can do with the Plucky Squire, and it looks phenomenal. So I mean, I'm in day one.
Day one on the Plucky Squire. The next one we got coming to PS5 sometime in 2023 was Tear Down, which looks like Minecraft but crime, where you do your own little heists and you can break things apart. This one, coming into it, I was whelmed and I was sold by the time that the trailer ended. I have to admit, this one has me curious. Has me curious to see more.
I played this in I think it was a demo, or it was on one of like the Steam Fest things from last year or the year before. It's been in like early access, early release stuff on Steam for like 2 or 3 years or something. And this definitely looks slicker. It looks like there's more you can do with it and stuff than what I experienced. I played like one stage. It was that like brick like stage that they kind of showed in the trailer and stuff. It was that one, and it was fun. Yeah, at the time, that the experience I had with it from like at least a year and a half ago was pretty cool. It was just like an excuse to tear down literally Minecraft stuff that they created for you. And I think I could be wrong. I didn't have time to look up further, but I think people can potentially create their own levels.
Nice.
But I
have
could be
press email here. Let me pull it up quickly.
Yeah, I could be wrong about that. Either way, it's kind of a cool idea. I'm not huge in the whole like voxel looking stuff all the time. Like Minecraft doesn't really do it for me and stuff. But with this, the lighting is really good. It actually controlled really well, even at the time. And all the explosions kind of look fun. It has a really good soundtrack and all that kind of stuff. And the trailer made it look like they've really sort of expanded on it. So this looks like a fun time. It looks like a fun excuse to just blow some shit up, honestly.
Minecraft Crime looks like a lot of fun.
Yep.
The next one that we got is obviously one that people are very excited about. We got confirmation of Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater remake coming to the PS5 sometime in the future. No release window. And alongside, we also got confirmation that Metal Gear Solid Master Collection Volume 1, which includes Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, will be coming in August of 2023. Autumn. Misread that. Autumn of 2023. But folks, hit me.
I mean, as the person decked out in the Metal Gear stuff, I have to go first. I think this is awesome. I mean, I will say, the CG trailer didn't look great that we got for Metal Gear Solid 3. It looks, I'm just gonna say it looked B tier. But at the same time, I'm really excited to see what they're gonna do with this remake. They posted a couple of screenshots after the showcase ended, and I thought those screenshots looked fine. But again, I'm just waiting to get my hopes up when we eventually see the gameplay. Maybe in a year or so, because I still don't think this is coming out until late 2024, probably at the earliest, if I had to guess. So it sounds like it's a really far away, but I do like the fact, and this is what I was not expecting at a time. I like the fact that they have like the collection coming out with the original 3 games to kind of tie us over until, Metal Gear Solid Delta is ready to come at us. Because we knew that these games got delisted because they were still available on the Xbox store. You'd actually still buy Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker, but they had to delist them because of legal reasons. It sounds like they've got those sorted out, but they still haven't relisted the 360 versions on the Xbox store, and I don't know if we'll ever get those back. But I'm glad we've got this collection coming, and more than anything, I'm just happy that we're going to be able to play all 3 of the Metal Gear Solid games on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4, and they did tease on the website maybe more games to come, ? Maybe a Peace Walker, maybe Metal Gear Acid, or VR missions, or Metal Gear Solid 4, or the GB color Metal Gear Solid. Like, hopefully we get a lot of those stuff, especially because this is Volume 1. I imagine they're going to maybe do a Volume 2 with maybe like the 2 MSX Metal Gear games, and then, Metal Gear on Game Boy and some other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, as a fan of Metal Gear, like, I couldn't be probably any more excited from this announcement, but I also am just like tempering my expectations with the remake itself until we see more of it.
I think that's the big thing. Yeah. Sorry, Court, go ahead, please.
That's okay. No, I was just gonna agree with Ryan there. I'm just hoping it's not just a glow up like we see on the Xbox and a lot of older games that they bring in, and I hope they've done a little bit extra with these. And I'm also glad that people. There's a lot of people we're excited about this, but there's a lot of people that watched that showcase and didn't know what the heck they just saw.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you both. I think in terms of the collection, I think that's probably the bigger announcement for me, where I think it's so important to have those 3 games on contemporary hardware, especially because there's a lineage of players who have never played these games. I think it's really important to kind of brush up on your video game history and play 3 iconic games. As for the remake, it is that thing where I'll never forget what Konami did to Kojima. And also, I don't really trust Konami without Kojima. So it's really cool to see Snake again. Is it going to be voiced by David Hayter? Are they going to do like a 1-to-1 remake, or are they going to start doing the Konami thing where they're going to put in their creative, juices into this game and kind of make it their own spin? Because now they are kind of setting themselves up to go chronologically through the timeline rather than release window. So it's like, how much are you guys going to change? How much are you going to tamper of the gameplay experience? I have so many about what this remake is and the longevity of this new series, I guess. But I'm glad that we just have the core games there that we can just all enjoy and not have to really worry about.
Yeah. I think I'm with you entirely, Steve. Like, I think I'm stoked that the originals are coming back. I don't think they're going to be anything more than just a straight port. I don't know if I trust Konami at this point. I don't think they've done anything in a number of time to garner any trust, given that they left video games. They're like, we're going all in on pachinko, and they came back around. So like, for me, I hope that they're treating this remake with respect and doing it properly, rather than just, we see games that are being remade sell well, we want to get in on the nostalgia and then kind of, half-ass it and put it out so it exists. So I excited that the possibility of more Metal Gear Solid is coming back, but I'm not entirely sold that Konami's going to stick the landing. But we'll find out more once we actually see the game.
Hey, I think it's really... Sorry, no, please go ahead, Ryan. I don't know if we're going to talk about the same thing.
Breaking information. So Yarden pointed out in the chat, David Hayter is confirmed. And then when I cross-reference this information, there is information in the press release for this indicating that David Hayter and as many of the original voice actors that they could bring back are back for this one.
Cool.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
they basically
I like that.
announced the full cast is back. But I mean, it's Konami, so I'm taking it with an arm's length side of caution, because I still don't trust them.
Honestly, I think we'll know one way or the other when the Silent Hill 2 remake comes out.
Right.
Fair.
Because we know that that's in the work at Bloober Team, and we'll see how much Konami wants to tamper with that. If that ends up being a great remake, then I think I will be probably a little more like, that'll probably increase my excitement for this as well.
The other thing I wanted to point out was that they sent out a tweet from the team that's working on this, and they just listed themselves as development team.
Yeah.
I think they really wanted to emphasize the point, hey, we might not be like core Konami, we might be, they're trying to separate themselves because of how much baggage there is with that one word. So it's interesting. There's a lot of politics behind there, but yeah, I just can't get over the fact that, it's such a shame Kojima's not working on this series anymore.
Yep.
That hurts.
Yeah, but he's onto better things. So honestly, I think he kind of looked out.
For sure.
I think Death Stranding 2 is going to be incredible. So really, I mean, he's getting to do what he wants on his own terms. So really,
yeah.
No, that's actually, I had a similar feeling when we got the Dead Space remake announcement as well, with the team from Visceral Games, moving on to do Callisto Protocol as well, where it almost felt like EA was reaching in and just taking this game that they worked so hard on after canning the studio. But at the same time, I also found I was able to enjoy Dead Space remake despite knowing all that stuff. So
that's fair.
I kind of feel kind of similar with that, where I feel like I can separate myself a little bit from it. But everyone's got their own, preference on.
No, I think that's a really great comparison. I'm kind of with you on that, where I was able to do the similar thing. So maybe it just will come down to the quality of the game, and then maybe I'll just be able to
absolutely,
chalk
as long
it up
as
to
they
that.
don't phone it in. That's
please do not, Konami.
That's,
oh my God.
I think that's my biggest worry. But moving on to our next game, we got Tower of Agazba coming to PS4 and PS5 sometime. Action adventure builder game. This game had a lot going on in it. You were like designing a village, but there was also giant flying monsters. Looks okay. I don't know if anybody has strong feelings about it.
It looks interesting.
Yeah,
and that's
about all.
We'll see.
It looks interesting. We'll see. So.
Let's keep it rolling. Then we got another trailer for Final Fantasy 16. We're not even going to touch this. The game is like a month out. Looks cool.
Yeah,
looks cool. Alan Wake 2 got a deep dive into it. We saw a whole bunch, including some gameplay, coming October 17th. Which you are going to be playing as both Alan Wake himself and a playable FBI agent. No feelings for me. Haven't played the original. This one looks.
Oh my God! You need to change that.
You haven't played the original?
Yes. No.
Oh my God! It's one of the best. It's one of the best horror games I've ever played in my life.
As a personal friend,
I upset everyone.
I implore you to play Alan Wake, and that's not even me coming from I've been a decade-long Alan Wake fan. play that game. You're even talking about playing Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Alan Wake takes so much of that genre and just elevates it with like the Remedy weirdness.
Okay.
Oh, it's so good.
I was gonna
Play
say
it.
that's such a game that I know Matt would enjoy too, which is why like I agree with the takes here. You need to play Alan Wake because that game's awesome. Because this trailer for Alan Wake 2 was awesome. I can't wait for Alan Wake 2. I loved the idea, first of all, that you get to play as two different characters, which I loved how they showed that off, like the differences between the two characters themselves. What's interesting about this release, and they talked about this in a press release afterwards, there's no physical version of this game.
Yep.
It is digital only.
That they hid that away really nicely.
Yeah.
But yeah, no.
But it's the same cost. So in a way, I'm like, I can understand why they would do that. But I mean, I love survival horror games. I loved Alan Wake on, the Xbox 360. It was, it made my list on that we did on Carpool for my favorite 50 Xbox 360 games. And yeah, I can't wait for the sequel. I think this is gonna be awesome and perfect time of year for it. October when it's spooky season. Like I'm excited.
It seems like they're going more for the to me, the first one is a different type of survival horror than what we've seen in the last few years. It's a little bit more like third person action-ish. I mean, it's spooky. It has a spooky setting, but it's not like, it's not Resident Evil 7, it's not one of those types of experiences or anything in the last couple of years. Not even any of the Resident Evil remakes or anything either. Those to me are a little bit more jumpy, I guess you could call it. This one sounds like it seems like it's definitely going a little bit more that way, or at least the quick scenes that they showed anyway. Yeah, go ahead, Steve. Go.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it almost feels like you could compare it like the original Alan Wake to a Resident Evil 1, where it is slow, plodding, methodical in its gameplay, and then you just jump right into Resident Evil 4, where it is more action oriented, where it's fast paced. You have that one shot with the enemy like busting through the wall. I was like, this doesn't seem Alan Wake at all, but yet feels right at home in the Alan Wake universe.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, I played Alan Wake. I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's like the greatest thing ever, but I think it's an awesome experience for sure. I really, really enjoyed it. And yes,
it was a product of its
everyone's
time.
Gonna play it. Yeah. And I played it several years later.
You're not gonna feel the same about it. But like, when it launched, like I remember how absorbed everyone was with it because it was just like there's nothing like it out there.
I will say, if anyone has played Control and has played the DLC, that is what got me excited for this to be a possibility. So I'm not gonna say why, but now the fact that a good reason for it, and honestly, that Control is one of the best games I've played in the last few years. I think that game is a friggin' masterpiece, and the DLCs are all worth every penny. And then also I noticed, because I'm a massive, at least the first, because I haven't played the third, but first two, massive Max Payne fan. And Sam Lake pops up in this, and I'm just like, I was like, is Max Payne in this? That's what I thought. And
I thought it was,
is this Max Payne 9 or whatever? Like, I was like, I'm all for it, man. A minute. But yeah, anyways, he's in it. He's in there too, so I'm all for it. So I'm very excited about this game. Very excited.
I'm just thankful we live in a timeline where Alan Wake 2 is an actual game that actually exists. It's actually coming out, because it looked like for the longest time it was never going to happen, and even though they wanted it to. So I'm so happy we have it finally coming out.
I don't know what video game deity someone prayed to get us here, but I'm so happy about that. Yeah. The last thing I want to say about Alan Wake 2, and I hope they're hiding it really well, but Barry's got to be in there. And for people who don't know, he is infamously the worst video game character, probably, period. But that stands to reason that 100%. This is just another selling point. It has one of the worst video game characters and still upholds the fact that it's still such a strong game.
All right, fine. I will make a promise to play. I'll at least try Alan Wake before Alan Wake 2 hits. I'll give it a run over this summer. I'll try and get it going on the Steam Deck, because I feel like that'd be a good place to play it. The next game that we got is one that's coming 5 days before Alan Wake 2. And Court, the floor is yours, my friend. We saw Assassin's Creed Mirage coming October 12th to PS4 and PS5. Pop off, my dude.
So one of my favorite franchises of all time, and they're finally going back. It looks like Assassin's Creed 2 type style combat. It looks like we're going to be getting not a extremely long like Valhalla. I finished everything in that game. It's a long game. Like, it's just too long. Odyssey was a masterpiece of an Assassin's Creed game. Story, everything about that game, the DLC. They've done a phenomenal job But I think bringing out something like this, especially with Bowsah, which was a great character that we met in Valhalla, to give him his own story, to give him the back to the basics Assassin's Creed before we get Infinity and so on and so forth. There's even rumors that this will be part of Infinity, so that when we load up Mirage, they'll have this whole like, here's the other games that are coming, kind of like when you load into a Call of Duty, how it's like everything is all mashed together. So I have a funny feeling this will be part of that, but at the same time, this looks like we're going to get like that 11, maybe 12-hour Assassin's Creed story that's just going to be straight up sneaking, hopefully no follow missions. Like I pray to
There's
God.
no way they're not going to do no follow missions.
I think they might do one as like a joke and like make fun of it.
It looks like, well, they already pulled a bunch of animations from Valhalla. Like this is way more in line with Valhalla. We're not getting anything.
Well, no, I'm talking about
before.
there's no RPG elements. There's no level up system. They've already said that.
They probably toned it down. They probably haven't revealed it, but I'm sure there's going to be that.
Well, no, they've already said that's not in it. Like the developers have already at points have said those parts aren't in the game. So they said this is going to be a back to the roots.
Yeah.
Regardless, I'm very excited for this game. I can't wait to play it, and I hope it doesn't disappoint me. That's all. I think that's where I'm at with this game.
It's up in the air for me. I mean, it kind of looked rough from even Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises of all time, but let's be honest, the demo did look kind of rough to me. I mean, Ubisoft is kind of in a really, really bad position right now. I mean, given the fact that they're literally rebooting Prince of Persia again today, they announced it. This game looks rough to me. I mean, I really want to be proven wrong, but even the demo looked kind of dated, I want to say, given Baghdad looks incredible, but I mean a lot of the elements still have that jank to them that for whatever reason they cannot shake.
I think for me this is the most excited I've been about Assassin's Creed in a long time, because similar to the Court, I liked Valhalla and I honestly didn't click with me. Never, like, I tried to get into Origins because Court really wanted me to, and again it didn't click. So I'm kind of excited to see what a older feeling Assassin's Creed will feel like in 2023, but I am curious to see more.
The fact that they're not using Unity's parkour just kind of ruins it for me. It's literally just Odyssey's parkour. You can tell just by the animations that they're picking and choosing from their previous games to just kind of pull this. It feels like a budget title, to be honest with you. To me,
well,
that's just my
funny
opinion.
you brought it up, because it actually is $69.99 Canadian for the standard version. So
that's
is
a budget
actually
title in Canada.
It's a budget title in Canada, so it kind of feels.
Yeah, I mean,
jeez.
I mean, I'm for myself. I mean, it is on level with Final Fantasy for me. The first 4 Assassin's Creed games were probably some of the best that I've ever played. But then, I mean, we all know how that went with the series. I thought 3 was incredible.
Yeah,
it was great. Black Flag was incredible. They're all good. Up until Syndicate, they were probably really good. But yeah, Mirage, I mean, I wanted to succeed, but it feels like it's just a placeholder for Infinity.
Well, we'll definitely find out more in October. The next one that we got was one that I wrote Night in the Woods 2 and then scratched out because it's not that, even though the cat looks exactly the same. Revenant Hill coming to PS4 and PS5 at some point. Set in the 90s, 20s, and it looks like, you're going to be playing as a cat again, set in the past, run around. I really, really enjoyed Night in the Woods, so I'm kind of really curious to see what this game is going to be. But folks, how are we feeling?
What a bait and switch that was.
Right?
I could not believe the look on my face where I was like, oh, how are they playing this off? Why I can't remember the character's name, but why is she running like an actual cat?
Yeah.
It's the exact same cat. I am so sorry, but whoever
Literally
designed that
scratched it out.
Dude, like as soon as I saw that it wasn't Night in the Woods 2, I was like, I'm sorry, I need to see more before I'm going to invest care into that, because I love Night in the Woods so much. That's another game people should go out and play. But
yeah,
I could not believe, like, I don't really understand the logic behind creating that character and having it look exactly the same, unless they're kind of using that as like a mask. I don't know.
Yeah,
it was weird.
Just exactly the same. But we will definitely go ahead.
Sorry, it says you play as a witch's familiar, and basically, you play in the 1920s, and your name is Twig the Cat. So that's who that is. So I don't know. Maybe it's like a prequel. I don't know.
That cat
It
lived
could be a
for
prequel.
eternity then. 'Cause
And then just
Could be like an
start standing
ancestor.
on.
literal 9 lives.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe an ancestor. Yeah, maybe there's some way to tie this in together. I'm curious to see.
Oh yeah, it looks incredible. I'm ready for it. Like it's published by Finji, and Finji's really good. So
Finji's
like I
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink is what we got next
Yes,
with the release
please.
window of winter 2023 coming to PS4 and PS5. I think this game looks awesome. It's giving me Tales of Arise vibes. I can't wait to see more of it. My fellow JRPG nerds in here, how we feeling?
It's been a long time coming, so like it's good to see that they're finally figuring out how to get this game to work, because I mean it's been announced like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
And
it was
it's
supposed to
been
come out last
rebooted
year.
like twice, so like it feels like they finally, I guess, either figured it out or had no choice to get it out, right? Because like we said, it's been too long. It's just certain games like this, like they always have these bad cycles where they just don't know what they want to do with it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it looks good.
I've been personally looking forward to this one for a very long time. This was one that I was excited to hopefully maybe come out last year, but it got delayed until winter of this year. So I'm just like Bobby mentioned, I'm kind of glad that that's finally coming out, because we've been hearing about this game forever. And I think that the footage they showed today looked great, and definitely it's up my alley. Like, it's definitely another like Ryan Turford video game, like the type of game I'm all about. So very excited for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. And in fact, I like what they're doing with the Grand Blue and trying a bunch of different things with it. I also really liked Grand Blue Fantasy Versus, the fighting game as well. So I'm interested to see what they do beyond Relink in the coming years.
I'm going to roll right past Street Fighter 6 because that game literally comes out next week. We saw some more character creation stuff on there. It looks like Street Fighter. The next game that we got looks straight out of like Rick and Morty, like with in terms of like the art style, very, very weird, very psychedelic. Ultros coming to PS4 and PS5 in 2024. This one is one that I'm curious to see more of. It looks really weird. I don't know. It looks cool.
Yep, I'm down for it. It looks like
2D
cool
action, sort of like you said, psychedelic stuff. I'm here for this type of stuff. Like I love at least trying these games and seeing what they're bringing to the genre, and seeing what they can do, not just visually. I mean, visually, obviously, it looks like literally looks insane.
Yep.
But I'm fine. That's good, as long as I can understand and keep track of what's going on the screen here, because it looked very chaotic. Then I'm good, because if you're in the gameplay and just stuff happens to be going on around you, it's different when you're controlling. Yeah, it's different when you're controlling and you understand what the mechanics are and what the game is, rather than just looking at the screen and just being like, here's a bunch of flashy bright colors. I'm down to give something like this a try. All this type of stuff I love experimenting with. So yeah, I mean, it looks interesting. Yeah.
The next one we got was Tower of Fantasy coming to PS4 and PS5 summer of 2023, an open world RPG again. Look, I don't know what to think about this one. Curious to see more, but it looks like every other open world.
So this is actually a game that's been out for a
game.
couple of years on PC, and it's actually like a PC live service MMO light kind of game. And I was not a fan of this game when it came out. It did not play great. Did not look great. It did not run well on PC. It was just not a good experience when it first launched. I haven't gone back to the game since then, because it's been out since 2021. So we did, from what we saw in the trailer today, I think what we saw today looked better than what it looked like when I first played it. So I'm hoping there's been some improvements to the game, and I'm hoping it's a much better experience with more to do, because that's another thing about it. You ran out of content very quickly in this game. So I'm hoping that they've done enough to it with the console release 2 years later to make it an appealing game. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I hope it's good, but we'll see.
Dragon's Dogma 2 was next, coming to PS5. We didn't get a release window here at all. I tried to get into the first one, didn't click with me, but I know a lot of people are very, very excited about Dragon's Dogma 2. Folks, thoughts?
Oh yeah, I'm ready for it. The first one's like another game product for its time. I mean, it's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like a Dark Souls meets like co-op. I don't know how to describe it. Like it's Dragon's Dogma. It's always been around to me. Like I remember watching the trailers and the demos, and I thought it looks incredible, and it played really well. I mean, it had a really cool Squire system, whatever it was called. But yeah, I mean, if you haven't played it, I mean, it's a cool RPG game. You could probably sink it 60 hours in, and still have lots to do. But yeah, definitely check it out. I mean, I think the sequel's still ways out, but for what we saw, it looks pretty cool. I'm definitely excited that we're getting a sequel. I mean, I know many people have asked for it, so it's great that Capcom's listening to people. So that's my take on it.
I hope it delivers in the way you want it to, my friend. Next, we got a bit of a PSVR 2 rock block with Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2 coming in late 2023. We got confirmation that Resident Evil 4's VR mode is going to be the entire game. It's in development. Arizona Sunshine 2 coming in holiday 2023. It looks a lot bigger and a lot funnier and a lot cooler than the original. Crossfire Sierra Squad is coming out at some point. This is going to have a bunch of campaign missions that you can, there's a bunch of co-op stuff that you can do in there as well. It looks like a kind of tactical shooter. We got confirmation that Synapse is coming July 4th to PS5 via PSVR 2. This we saw at the last state of play. Very like a monochromatic scale, like very monochromatic art style with a bunch of color pops. This looks really awesome. Yeah. And then Beat Saber coming today. Anybody who owned it on PSVR, you have a free upgrade. Just go and download it. But folks, I'm just kind of open up the floor to PSVR 2. This for me, Resident Evil 4 being the entire game as I'm playing through it right now on Steam Deck. Very, very excited. Much more excited than before. Arizona Sunshine 2 looks like a lot of fun. Synapse is a game that I'm picking up day one, and I'm just finally happy that Beat Saber is finally here. My PSVR 2 folks, what are we thinking?
Yeah, I'm ready for Beat Saber.
I joked around. I joked around. I was like, Beat Saber is saving PSVR 2, but I'm also not joking at the same time. That screen where it said Resident Evil 4 VR mode in development hurt me so much. Yeah, because something like that needs to be out right now. Mm-hmm. Like a few months after the launch game came out, players got to go through that. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna replay this game months down the line. Like, we need reasons to pick up this headset. I'm disappointed that we still have to wait for this. And yeah, the other games, Arizona Sunshine 2, that's cool. Synapses look really neat and everything. But man, I was hoping for a much bigger pop for PSVR 2. I was hoping that Sony was going to come out even stronger than, all the other expectations we had for their first party for PlayStation 5 and everything. Double that, because we needed so much confidence going into for PlayStation VR 2, and I just did not get that. I got Beat Saber, which is cool. It's an already known quantity. We know that, it's a great game. It's a killer app for all VR headsets. That's not gonna make me buy a PlayStation VR 2 versus MetaQuest or something like that, or even hell, PSVR 1 if you still play on a PlayStation 4. But yeah, I was so disappointed in this block, and to me, it just felt like we're spinning wheels now, and we're just shy of 6 months after launch, and I still don't see that Sony thunder behind this hardware launch, and it's hurting me.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel the same way as you, Steve, because I feel like it really needed something for people who don't have the headset to bring them in, and I don't think we got any of those announcements today. Because these announcements are great for people who already have the headset, but I don't think there's anything here that's like, okay, I need to buy the headset so I play this. And Resident Evil could have been that game, but we don't have that yet.
Yeah, nothing has convinced me yet that I need something. I need to buy another console, essentially, based on the price. Look, more Queen in everybody's life is always a good thing, in my opinion. But that I can listen to that at any time. I don't need to spend almost $1,000 to do that.
Can you go like this?
What they could have
Can you
done
do this at the same time?
What they should have done is
it's not. It doesn't look good, but yes, I can do it.
Okay. No, Beat Saber needed the editor where you can just make your own music tracks. Like that's what I needed on PlayStation.
Yeah, and we're definitely waiting to see what PSVR 2 can do, but I don't know. Hopefully that RE4 is this year, because I think it desperately needs. I think Steve hit on it entirely. Next, we got a bit of a Bungie rock block with the confirmation that Marathon is coming. It's coming to like everything, and it's PvP. And then we got confirmation of Destiny, the final shape, coming as well. Guessing the final Destiny expansion. But folks, Marathon and Destiny, what are we thinking?
Huge.
Yeah,
huge. I'm all about this.
Yeah,
I'm ready for both. I love Bungie.
Yep, Bobby, go ahead.
Bungie needs to kind of let Destiny go, so I really hope with this like final chapter with the Light and Darkness saga, they just like put it to bed. start something fresh, because it's burdened by like a decade of development. There's just too much. There's some elements you still can't even play in 2023, and like I think they just need to retire it and move to a new game or a new model or something. But yeah, I mean, for Destiny, like I love Destiny so much. I want to see if they can elevate it in 2024 and forward, but that's up to them, right? But for Marathon, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I know it's a extraction PvP game, but I mean, Bungie made Halo, Bungie made Destiny, and this is like the first game they ever made. Like the first Marathon was what put them on the map, I think. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they elevate their original series to the standards we have in 2023, 2024. So I mean, I think Bungie's got a good track, and the fact that PlayStation's now, you know, financially supporting them means that they have a lot of room to hit the ceiling now, because like there's just so much more freedom now.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you there, Bobby. I would push back and say that I think Destiny should and needs to stick around, not maybe as in its current form as like 2, but maybe refresh it, just call it Destiny moving forward, and just have it as like a base platform. So I think that having this final expansion come out next year, it's huge. Destiny nerds, seeing Cade again is awesome. It's so big for so many fans. So I think having that, you know, come full circle, see the character come back is awesome. But as for Marathon, I mean, look at the lineage of this studio to put out Marathon 26 years ago on Mac and now be a PlayStation acquired studio, and then put out this PvP extraction, almost Escape from Tarkov cyberpunk game. I'm invested and wanting to try it out. I don't know if it's going to sink its hooks into me and keep me for a long time, but anything Bungie, I'm 100% in. The baseline, I know that they're going to come in with quality in terms of the gameplay, because that's across the board, whether you're looking at Halo, Destiny, even at Destiny in its darkest days, the gameplay excelled even beyond most FPS games. So I'm just expecting that for Marathon now.
Yeah, no, I think I'm really looking forward to see what Marathon's going to become, and I think you guys already hit it on the head. I'm sure it's going to feel great to play. Which I'm very curious about our next announcement, which was from Firewalk. We got the confirmation that they're working on Concord coming to PC and PS5 in 2024. PvP multiplayer first-person shooter. We just got a short CGI trailer. Definitely something about space. But again, this is another studio that PlayStation just recently added to their PlayStation Studios family. So again, they must be feeling good about what this game is, folks. Any quick thoughts and feelings about Concord?
Nothing until we see more. I mean,
yeah,
I am not a fan of like these CGI sizzle trailers. They do nothing for me. I will always, you know, champion gameplay over graphics.
We'll see what this is going to be. I'm not even going to bring up the fact that they had a Gran Turismo movie trailer, because we already talked about that.
You just did.
Yeah, you did.
Anyways.
We also got a really weird kind of like what I think Court nailed it when we talked about this earlier. Shoehorned announcement of Project Q, which is their 8-inch DualSense streaming only device, and the earbuds. No release windows on anything there. I think they said 2023, but I can't remember for sure. They said that at least they'll be talking about it more soon, but. Yeah, I don't know. For me, Project Q, if that thing is more than $300 dead on arrival, like that thing has to be priced incredibly competitively for it to make any sense as a streaming only device. Because that's why not just buy a Switch at that point? Is it going to work on data? Is it going to work when you're out and about? The earbuds have me more sold. I am curious about those to see what those are going to come together like, but This just felt like a very like we're just gonna toss this in. Like I said, I think Court nailed it. It felt like they put it in because something else was supposed to be there and it wasn't. Court, I know you said you're excited about the earbuds. What are you thinking about this 1-2 punch of confusion?
It just like I said, it felt like it was an afterthought. It felt like it should have just been a blog post, and we've been saying it all year about how they shouldn't make things a blog post and they should go all out. But when they're announcing a streaming device, but they're only really just showing it, it's really not really talking about it, why even show it to us unless you're going to go in depth with it? It felt flat and it felt out of place.
Yeah, it's this meeting could have been an email. That's what it felt
100%.
like. That's what this part was. Like as slick as they look, as cool as they maybe they'll work the way that we want them to. Maybe it'll be what we want it to be. But yeah, this could have been a blog post. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I truly think that something else was supposed to be there, and they were like, "Well, Tom Henderson's already like released." And like, this is the funny part. We got more information about this in the leak from Tom Henderson than we did in the showcase.
Yeah.
So, there's also another headset too, right? Might as well put that out there. Like, we already
Right.
knew what it looks like.
Yep.
We've seen the pictures of the earbuds. We've seen the pictures. We got to see the case this time. That was the only thing different. I went back
Ooh.
to see the
Which is
article.
a nice case.
All we
Let's be
saw was
honest.
different.
You
We've
know,
already
that's
seen
nice.
what the Project Q look like. Everything. The case, the earbuds are great. Like when I'm using my VR headset, I can now use those earbuds. Like that's
Right.
one of my thought. And I also like earbuds over headphones.
Mhm, yeah.
I'm a big earphone. I don't want to mess the hair up, so I'd rather the earbuds all
Can't
day
kill
long.
the quaff, man. You can't
Yeah.
kill the
But
quaff.
it just felt like I would really love to know, like, get Jason Schreier on it, get someone on it, find out what was really supposed to be in that block, because that wasn't supposed to be there.
Yeah, it felt really, really just oddly placed. And I think you're right. Like I was going to like Marvel trailer theory when we saw that picture of like the Project Q and that earbuds. I'm like, there's an extra space there. And are they leaving the Hulk out? Is that where those other headphones are supposed to be? Is this graphic going to be added later? Like that, I started to go into full that mode because I was like, we know that there's more. Why not just talk about it at this point? But to end on an incredible high note, folks, of course, we got a lengthy 13-minute Spider-Man 2 trailer kicking things off, seeing Craven to start things off, and before we got to see Symbiote Spidey, very aggressive, Yuri Lowenthal's delivery coming across very hoarse in the best way possible. We got the swap to Miles very much. They're both very active in throughout the entire 13 minutes. The swaps back and forth, incredibly clean. We got to see the wingsuit across both of them, both Peter and Miles use it in the footage at different points, so you will be able to kind of wingsuit around. The game looks much more agile, much cool. Like there's just so much going on. We got to see Lizard as they're trying to go after Lizard. I'm unbelievably hyped for this game. We just got fall 2023. Whether the September rumors are true or not, we don't know as of yet, but we do know it is still coming this year, folks. Spider-Man 2 looks incredible. I just want it so bad. I want it so bad. What are we thinking?
I think we're all very excited. I mean, listen,
Yes.
I think I've said this in multiple avenues before, but I very rarely go for the trophies. I very rarely go for the achievements. They're fun. They're great. I'm happy to do it. But the first Spider-Man for this was the first one that I was like, yeah, I'm gonna platinum this mofo. Like this thing is, yeah, this thing's my bitch. I got this. It's so much fun. And yeah, there's some busy work in there for sure. But I love the way that it controlled, and I played Miles Morales earlier this year for the first time on PS5, and it was fantastic. And I think I said at the time, I like how that was shorter, more contained. So my expectation is that I'm gonna wish this was a little shorter and smaller, because my gameplay type and my preferences has changed a little bit over the last few years. I like the God of War approach at this point, where it's like there's hubs almost, and similar to what Jedi Survivor is. It's open, but there's hubs. When it's just an entirely open large map now, it's not quite my thing as it used to be. But with the way that you traverse in this game, and that you did in the other two, there's no way that I'm not going to have a great time doing that.
Mhm.
And the way this just looks, like just the style of this, the lighting, the dynamic, the way everything just sort of was so super smooth through the whole thing. Yes, it's tailored. It's a trailer. It's supposed to make everything look amazing, but I have no doubt it's going to look like that when we're actually playing it. And Craven's cool. I like you mentioned, I think way back when we started the episode, I think seeing all the different characters on the map like that is a very interesting thing that could open up a lot of different avenues. And whether it's in DLC or the actual game, I don't know. But I'm very excited for this, and I don't know. I think we're all in. I think we're all in.
At this point, I think what's going to happen is, and I've been thinking about this game because it's pretty much like the only game. I think we deal with Venom right off the start. Like
Right.
that is one of the very first things they do. They're meeting up with Venom to tail off from the comics, and that's how we get the symbiote suit, so that they get it to us pretty early because I don't know. I think it's pretty obvious who the main fight is going to be. At some point, we're going to have Miles versus Peter. Like it's just going to happen.
Mhm.
But
Miles would body Peter.
He will.
yeah,
Right?
that's
It's not even a fair
regardless of.
competition.
I'm not going to get into who's going to beat up who. It's a video game.
I'm just calling it right now, guys.
Superman's
I'm
gonna
gonna
beat
win.
Superman's gonna beat
But
him up.
I looked at
Superman's
it's
gonna
very
kick his
interesting when
ass.
Craven had the map and he's looking at all the different boroughs of New York, and each borough of New York had an enemy. So
Yeah.
like I saw Sandman on there. There was a
Black
bunch
Cat.
of
Black
different.
Cat.
Yeah, there was a
Tombstone.
bunch. So,
Taskmaster.
but yeah, Taskmaster was on there. My guess is we have to control each borough of New York. So that's you're clearing off the map because that's the Spider-Man. So they're gonna have less of like the science thing, like those they'll have control each borough or save each person. I don't know before Craven gets them because you're gonna have to try and stop Craven. But you're gonna have the whole take down Venom at the first half. So that'll be like your first 2.5 hour block of the game is the Venom story, and then Craven, all that is introduced, and then they opens up the world to everything else. But I don't think it's going to be a short game at all.
So it's funny you say that, Corp, because I actually think it's going to be in reverse of that, where I think Peter acquires the suit first, and he has the standoff with Miles in the middle of the game, and then that's how we get Venom as the final boss.
Oh,
It's a classic story.
Yeah.
Like that's the atypical Venom story. Is Peter gets it. That's why it always has the Spider-Man or like the spider symbol on it when it goes to Venom.
Okay, yeah, good point.
And then they're inevitably going to introduce Eddie Brock at some point. I imagine he's going to
or
be
someone
Jane,
else,
like
that they hinted
playable
at
third
it.
character at some point. Then you just jump into being able to play as Venom.
Yeah, I think that there's a good chance that they're either going to twist it on its head with either Harry end up possibly being Venom, because we get a name drop, we know that things are going on with them, or the game's going to end with setting up Harry as Green Goblin for the third one.
Yeah, because I thought we set up Green Goblin.
We
You know what?
started to.
Yeah, okay. You know what? I shouldn't even talk about it because you know what? People might not have played the game.
True. Regardless,
But to be fair, if you haven't played this game at this point, I mean, that's on you. It's like 5 years old at this point.
I mean, Sean Capri hasn't played that game yet, so.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Sean, but that's on you. 5 years.
It sounds like a you problem.
yeah.
5 years? I mean, I'll give it for like a year is like my cutoff for spoilers. After that, it's free game.
Honestly, play Miles. To me, it's a better game.
Miles
it's
is
shorter.
a
It
better
won't take
game.
as much
Dude,
time.
I
Like it's
think
a great
one of them.
game. Yeah.
But you missed out on some great
yes,
in the first one. Like
yes,
setup
the first
last
one is still
half.
great. Yeah.
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 Either way.
I think we're all unbelievably stoked about Spider-Man 2, which obviously rounded out the showcase for us, bringing it to that hour 15-ish mark. But that kind of brings it to the end for us, because I think, we talked off the show saying how we all felt a bit whelmed. I think Spider-Man 2 was an easy highlight for all of us. So let's go around the panel just one last time. Hit me with your final closing thoughts and where people can find more of you, Court.
Why would you go to me? Why wouldn't you go to them first? Go to me last.
Because you love this question.
Yeah, but then I have. Oh, all right. Well, you can find me at Cortland. Sorry, I for the listeners, they know I get up at 5 a.m. So I am just right now. I'm pretty much exhausted. I'm getting to my breaking point. But right now, you can find me at Cortland on Twitter, or at Carpool Gaming on Twitter, or you can find me usually on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. on Three Dads in a Console.
Steve.
Yeah, you can find me across the internet at SFigvari, and you can also find me weekly on the Creature Cast alongside these fine gentlemen somewhere here. I don't know which direction I'm pointing, but we're cranking out episodes.
Knows is Matt. Hold on, I can tell you. I'll just go on YouTube.
Steve, it's me,
Steve,
Court,
they're all on the bottom.
Ryan,
so Bobby's
and then
beside
Steve,
you.
Bobby, Dave.
Yeah, you guys are on the bottom. We're on the top. Ooh.
That's intentional. I don't like that. That's just like a power play.
Bobby, you want to know who? You know what, Bobby? I'm right above you, buddy.
I know you were.
You're my bottom bunk, mate.
Only here.
Jesus, Court.
Oh,
You know
I
what? Sometimes a
didn't
bunk
wanna-
has the
I
larger
talk-
mattress.
I talk
That's
PG,
true.
So I didn't. My bottom, doggy.
Anyways,
Ryan.
You can find me by loading up your Tiger Electronics handheld, going to the web browser app, going to the address bar, typing in http://www.twitter.com/Ryan Turford. You also find me over on that competing show, the Xbox Drive, where we talk about Xbox.
It's not competing. We're all on the same team.
Yeah,
Stop
I
that.
know. You can also find me rolling the dice, doing all
In the
those
back
stats
alley.
over on the RPG cave. In the cave, of course. We don't talk about role-playing games all the time. So you can check us out on Carpool Gaming right here.
Bobby, my friend.
Let's start with consolecreatures.com. You can find news, reviews, tech. We have an interview coming up that's going to be worthwhile. And you can find me at bpasholitis on Twitter and Instagram if you want, but nothing goes on Instagram anymore.
No.
Sorry, guys.
Dead platform.
Yeah, it's hard, dude.
Splatoon killed Instagram.
I'm having trouble with Instagram. I don't get it.
I know.
Steve's actually very good. You know what?
Steve's
Steve's good at
Steve's very
Instagram.
good at
You
Instagram.
are good at Instagram.
He's good at Instagram.
Yeah.
Actually, sorry. Let's be honest. Your significant other is good at Instagram. She teaches you everything.
Exactly. See,
There it
I give credit where credit.
Hmm.
It was not me. There's
She's
a
good.
puppet master.
She's good. She's good.
She's actually like right behind you. Like
She was
those aren't
helping
even
me and
your
Matt.
arms.
Remember? She was helping
Yeah.
us. So she's good.
Dave, my dude.
I'm also contributing to Console Creatures and obviously Creature Cast. We're doing some pretty great episodes and stuff. It's been a blast. Also, elsewhere, my other podcast is Remember 64, where I am going through the entire N64 library. For better or for worse, I'm putting myself through that task. It's been really
You just
fun.
gave Ryan a huge
Yeah.
video game boner.
Because, we
There
need
it is.
StarCraft 64. When's the StarCraft 64 episode happening?
I mean, if I could ever get a hold of it, that will be one of them. But you know what? I've actually, this is funny. This is actually a
Ryan's
little bit
like,
of
I literally have it and live around the corner from me.
You're not wrong.
I know. I mean, StarCraft's a great game anyway. So, I literally went when the Spider-Man 2 trailer began, because I just purchased a copy of Turok. I thought that was a Turok trailer. I was very excited. If only, yeah. I know it makes no
God.
sense. Like nothing. It would never would have happened. But I was like, oh, is this?
You
Turok?
never know. Night Dive might bring it back because they did that remake and people liked it.
Yeah. So Turok 2's coming up sometime this summer. What else do I have coming up? Mario Golf is coming up. Just did Majora's Mask. We've done Blast Corps. We've done a couple of heavy hitters like Kirby and Smash.
Don't forget about Buck Bumble. When you doing Buck Bumble?
Yeah, I did Buck Bumble already.
There
That
you go.
was a hell of a game. And my God, if you want a good soundtrack, play and listen to Buck Bumble. A hell of a surprise. So yeah, and that's it. Remember 64
Who knew?
on your podcast.
Dave and Ryan just became
Right.
like besties.
Did we just become best friends? Is that what happened?
There's a reason they're
That just
sharing.
happened.
There's a reason they're sharing a bunk bed on the stream. So
Yeah.
That was
There you go.
nice.
Perfect.
there you go.
Twas meant to be.
Twas meant to be indeed. As for myself, you can follow me over on Twitter at Matt_SilverSoul, and I'll be here, obviously here on the PlayStation Drive. And real quick, folks, Bobby, Steve, Dave, thank you so much for coming on and doing this incredible epic crossover. It was awesome talking all things PlayStation Showcase with you folks. All of the Console Creature stuff will be in the description below, along with the article that we literally read from doing this show. Bobby has a great one running down all the announcements, all the trailers, and embedded and everything, so go check them out. Folks, it's always awesome rocking with you, and I cannot wait to do this again with you in the future. So thank you for coming. It's been awesome.
No, thank you for having us. Love you guys, and likewise for the Creature Cast feed, we'll have all your information there. And let's do this again sometime, because honestly, it's really cool to just hang out with you guys.
Summer Games Fest is coming up, so I mean, like, really,
Ba, ba,
it's
ba,
only a
ba.
couple weeks away.
And then there might be
There you
this
go.
little showcase coming up after that.
Oh, Starfield? Oh, and Xbox. Yes.
Wait, I was going to
Xbox.
say, we may have this other thing called the Xbox Showcase.
I'm
That
very
we-
excited for the Xbox Showcase.
Me too.
Very excited.
Me too.
I want to see Indiana Jones.
You know what, guys?
Like,
I'm just gonna call it right
dying.
now. Foam Party's gonna have a higher Metacritic score than Starfield. We'll see you next week, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what you thought about the PlayStation Showcase. Peace.
What?
Matt, you